Okay, stop what you're doing. Because I need to tell you something that literally broke my brain when I first found out. You know that formula you memorized in middle school? A squared plus b equals c squared, the Pythagorean Theorem. It's named after one dude, Pythagoras. And every single one of us learned his name like it was gospel. But here's the thing nobody told us in school. Pythagoras might not have discovered it. Not even close. And that's not even the craziest part of this story. Because this dude, the guy whose name is literally carved into math textbooks worldwide, ran a secret cult. A full-on rules and rituals. We don't talk about Bean's secret society. And one of his own guys may have been murdered for doing math. I'm dead serious. So buckle up, because the real story of Pythagoras is so wild, it makes his theorem look boring. Let's start with something that should honestly freak you out a little. Pythagoras was born around 570 BCE on a Greek island called Samos. He eventually moved to southern Italy, to a city called Croton, and there he built something extraordinary. But here's the kicker. Pythagoras never wrote a single word down. No books, no scrolls, nothing. Not one sentence in his own handwriting has ever been found. Every single thing we know about this man came from writers who lived hundreds of years after he died. Think about that for a second. The most famous mathematician in history left behind zero math. How does that even happen? Well, it gets weirder. Now let's talk about the theorem itself. Because y'all, the Pythagorean Theorem was not discovered by Pythagoras. I know. Breathe. Archaeologists have found Babylonian clay tablets dating back to around 1800 BCE, that's over 1,000 years before. Pythagoras was even born that already described the exact same relationship between the sides of a right triangle. Ancient Indian and Chinese mathematicians? Same deal. They had it figured out too. So what did Pythagoras actually do? Historians think he may have brought the idea into Greek philosophy and popularized it in the Western world. But discover it? Nah, fam, probably not. And yet his name is the one that stuck for 2,500 years. That's either the greatest PR move in human history or the greatest heist. Now here's where this story goes from interesting to absolutely unhinged. When Pythagoras rolled up to Croton around 530 BCE, he didn't start a university. He started what historians straight up call a secret brotherhood. Members had to live together, share everything they owned, and I am not making this up, new recruits had to stay completely silent for 5 years. No talking. For 5 years. Imagine showing up to your first day of school and being told, cool, don't speak for half a decade. We'll check back in. And people actually did it. Because Pythagoras wasn't just a teacher to them. He was more like a prophet. His followers believed that numbers weren't just tools for counting. They believed numbers were literally the DNA of the universe, the secret code behind music, nature, the stars, even the human soul. Which honestly, kind of slaps as a philosophy. Until you find out about the beans. Okay, so. The Pythagoreans had a hard rule. Do not eat beans, that's it. That's the rule. No explanation. Just no beans. Ever. Historians have been debating this for centuries, and they still don't fully know why. Some think Pythagoras believed beans contained human souls. Others think it was symbolic, something about the shape of beans representing reincarnation. There's also a medical theory about a condition called favism, which makes beans genuinely dangerous for some people. Whatever the reason, this rule was dead serious to them. And speaking of souls, Pythagoras had some very strong opinions about those two. Pythagoras didn't just do math. He believed in reincarnation. The idea that your soul jumps from body to body after you die. Normal enough belief for the time, sure. But Pythagoras took it further. He straight up claimed he could remember his own past lives. In one of the most legendary stories about him, he said he had once been a warrior in the Trojan War. His followers ate this up. To them, Pythagoras wasn't human in the regular way. He was something else entirely, which made what happened next all the more devastating for the Brotherhood. Here's where the story gets genuinely dark. The entire Pythagorean worldview rested on one beautiful belief: that the universe runs on perfect whole numbers. Everything in existence, music, planets, the soul, could be expressed as a clean ratio. It was elegant. It was poetic. It made the universe feel safe and ordered. And then one of their own members blew it all up. A mathematician named Hippasus discovered something that should not exist: the square root of 2. It's just what we call an irrational number today. It can't be written as a fraction. It never ends. It never repeats. For us, that's just a math fact we learned in school and forgot about. But for the Pythagoreans, it was an existential crisis. It meant their entire picture of a perfectly ordered universe was wrong. According to ancient legends, the Brotherhood tried to bury the discovery. Keep it secret. Pretend it didn't happen. And some of those same legends say that Hippasus, the guy who found the truth, was drowned at sea for revealing it. Now, we can't know for certain if that actually happened. But the fact that this story survived for thousands of years tells you everything about how seriously these people took their beliefs. Eventually, the Pythagorean Brotherhood got too big, too powerful. The politicians in Croton started to sweat. These weren't just philosophers anymore. They had influence, money, followers. Around 460 BCE, the city turned on them. Their meeting halls were burned to the ground. Members were killed in the streets. The whole operation gone, practically overnight. And Pythagoras himself just vanished. Some accounts say he escaped. Others say he died in the chaos. Nobody knows. The man who left no writings also left no confirmed death. So here we are. Pythagoras, one of the most famous names in all of human history. In every math class, every textbook, every standardized test. And yet, he probably didn't discover the theorem named after him. He led a secretive cult with bizarre rules and absolute loyalty. His followers treated him like a literal god. Almost everything we think we know about him was written centuries after he died, which means the real Pythagoras may be lost forever. But here's what I keep thinking about. This man wrote nothing, built nothing that physically survived, and yet his name outlasted empires. It's still here, 2,500 years later, in every math classroom on the planet. That's the power of an idea. So I want to know what you think. Was Pythagoras a genuine genius who changed the way we see the universe? Or was he just the most famous name attached to work done by his students? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're into stories like this, the ones history class never told you, subscribe because we go deep here. The real stories are always stranger than the legends.